Hi guys, and welcome back to my travel channel. Today we'll be continuing the China series with 48 hours in Chengdu. Chengdu is located in the Sichuan province in central China with a population of approximately 16 million people. The city is mainly known for being home to the giant panda, hosting over 50 pandas in their research center, the Sichuan Opera dating back to the early 1700s, and of course a whole lot of spice. So let's check it out. Chances are if you're going to Chengdu, you're planning on seeing the adorable pandas. I had my heart set on seeing the pandas straight away, but unfortunately my flight arrived around noon and the pandas are most active in the early morning, so I went to explore some of the city first. I always try and take public transit when I travel, so I took the Metro Line 10 from the airport to the city center. This trip takes about 30 minutes and only cost about 10 RMB. Although the pandas are the main attraction in Chengdu, there's still a lot to see in the city itself, and the first stop is Wenshu Monastery. I wanted to visit Wenshu Monastery because it's known for being one of the best preserved Buddhist temples in Chengdu, and that couldn't be more true. It's a beautiful place to walk around and take in some Chinese scenery, and of course enjoy the wind chimes while exploring the pagodas. The monastery is over 1,000 years old, and you'll probably see monks and locals worshipping and burning incense within the temple. It's free to enter, and keep in mind it's an active Buddhist temple, so try to be mindful of your surroundings. If you're looking for a nice place to reflect away from the hustle and bustle from the city, this is definitely your ticket to enjoy the tranquility of the gardens. The area gives you lots of places to explore, including a tea house, over 300 Buddhist statues, and of course you'll see a lot of beautiful gardens like you can see here. So give yourself 2 to 3 hours when you're visiting. After a few hours, I went to grab a bite to eat. Chengdu is known for being extra spicy, so I was eager to try some of the local cuisine, and what better to start with than the classic hot pot. Hot pot, as you may have seen in other cities, originated from China and is very popular in Chengdu and the Sichuan province. You have a pot of soup in front of you, and you put meat, veggies, and other ingredients in the broth to cook to your liking and take in the spicy flavor. Very delicious, but be warned, it's spicy. The next morning I was up bright and early to go see the pandas. You can take a taxi from the city center, which is approximately 10 kilometers, for about 40 RMB. I took the Metro Line 3 and got off at Panda Avenue Station and took bus 198, which brings you directly to the entrance. The research center opens at 7:30 a.m., so try to arrive early if possible, as the park can get quite crowded. The entrance fee is 55 RMB to enter, and you can purchase this at the front gate. Besides the fact that it's the only place in the entire world that you get to see so many pandas, it's a really interesting place to visit as well. The center breeds and raises pandas, training them in different stages to be able to survive in the wild. One of them even smiled at me when we took his picture. One of my favorite parts of the day was definitely this little guy. I arrived very early and no one else was around, and this panda walked right up to me. I was so excited to have him all to myself and soak in the experience. He was very curious, poking his head up every few seconds. You could tell he could hear me but wasn't quite sure where I was, and it was such a unique moment. Like many people who come to visit the pandas, I had never seen one up close before, so it was really cool to see a panda for the first time with no one else around. The pandas are the most active in the morning and usually have their feeding time between 9 and 10 a.m. and sleeping for the next few hours, so if you have the chance, try and arrive early. Most of their diet is bamboo, eating an average of 20 to 80 pounds per day, which I was really surprised to find out. They spend most of their time eating or sleeping, and the giant panda is only found in certain regions of China, with less than 2,000 left worldwide. 70% of those are found in the Sichuan province. So in Chengdu, it's not surprising that you'll find a panda theme pretty much everywhere you go. And I wasn't complaining. The park was big, and you could easily spend a few hours here walking around, and of course there's bamboo growing everywhere, making the walk very scenic and enjoyable. During the summer months of June, July, and August, the pandas are kept inside. I visited at the end of November, and it was the perfect time to visit Chengdu. The leaves had just changed color, and the pandas were comfortable in the climate outside. So keep this in mind when planning your trip. I really liked how the pandas had a lot of space to move around and enjoy themselves, unlike other centers that you may visit that have them in small cages or playpens. Pandas typically breed around the same time every year and give birth in August and September. So fall is typically the ideal time to see baby pandas in the Baby Research Center. Because they are so small at birth, they usually don't develop enough to walk for about 3 months, just like this little guy here with his face stuck straight down. Baby pandas are always a hit. I could have easily watched them all day. They are sensitive to flash, so keep that in mind when you're taking pictures or video. After visiting the pandas, I grabbed a latte with some cute latte art at the Panda Cafe located in the park. I definitely recommend doing a pit stop here if you can, as it's a nice refresh before you hit the road. Next, I headed back downtown to do some shopping and grab some souvenirs at Wide and Narrow Alley. This is where you want to go for some good shopping and delicious food. The streets are very picturesque with lots of cute shops with live music and entertainment. Walking through the charming streets, it feels like you've taken a step back in time, as the streets are filled with history, culture, and locals having a coffee or tea, and of course, a lot of good food. In traditional Chengdu fashion, there's a lot of chilies and hot food to try out, so make sure you try some of the local cuisine while you're there. There's so many tasty snacks available for only a few dollars with very decent portions, so you won't have trouble finding something for everyone to snack on while you shop. No matter where you go, there's something charming around every corner. If you're looking for shopping, there's endless amounts of stores with retail, food, and leisure shops. These shops are also filled with souvenirs and Chinese keepsakes, which you can bring home with you. You'll find this spot is popular for locals and tourists, and it's a must-see when you're visiting Chengdu. If you're able to go in the fall, you'll be able to take in the beautiful colors as well, which makes for a beautiful walk through the streets. The stores are usually open every day, so no matter when you visit, you'll have lots of options. Of course, before I headed out, I had to get something good to eat, so I had a delicious bowl of noodles, which were amazing, and a perfect way to end the afternoon. If you like soup or noodles, definitely give this a try while you're in the area. After dinner, I headed over to another Chengdu favorite, the Sichuan Opera. Seeing the Sichuan Opera is a really cool experience. The show had a private table with complimentary tea, which you can drink throughout the performance. The opera is one of the youngest of the operas in China, dating back to the early 1700s. It's a great way to see a big piece of Chengdu's culture. The show originated from folk traditions, and the actors wear bright colored costumes and dance to dramatic music. Many routines are performed. One of the most popular is the face-changing trick, where the performer's mask changes color right in front of your eyes. The Sichuan Opera is unique for its various storylines that are told throughout the performance. You'll also see fire spitting and other circus-like stunts as well. If you arrive early, sometimes the performers will even let you take a picture with them. Definitely worth a try if you have some extra time. One of my favorite parts was the hand shadow puppets. This ancient form of Chinese art was amazing to watch. The performer acts out different animals and objects, swiftly changing from one to another. I definitely recommend coming to see the opera if you have the chance. It's a great way to enjoy the evening, and not to mention a Chengdu specialty. The next morning, with only a few hours left before my flight, I went for a bike ride along the river with my Airbnb host, who was kind enough to show me around. The river flows straight through the middle of Chengdu, and these pictures don't even do it justice. It's a beautiful green color with trees and buildings along the sides of the river. You'll see locals walking around, fishing, and really just enjoying life. It was pretty quiet when I went, and the colors just made it that much more pleasant. The river also leads you to a popular tourist destination, the Yanshan Bridge. It was unfortunately under construction when I was there, but at night it's absolutely stunning and looks something like this. With only a few hours left before my flight, my new friend treated me to a bowl of Chengdu's finest noodles, and I was off to the airport. I made it just in time. It was on my flight back to Shenzhen. And that's Chengdu in 48 hours. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time on Traveling with Alicia.